Okay, so now we have to fight Stinking Shadow Labrys. Let's go.
Final.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just grab her really quick and go into burst. And now let's just use the stinking special attack, and she's gonna move around like so and just walk right into that. I swear the special move isn't that effective in stinking multiplayer.
Perhaps I took it too far.
Oh well. The giant creature behind the shadow. I had begun to think of it as part of the shadow itself. Vanishes with a loud roar. I managed to defeat her. She shows no further signs of resistance. Cautiously, I turned around and walked to Labrys, who was still sitting on the floor, being held up by Rise-san. It seems Teddy was also regaining consciousness. He had broken into a sweat, flustering as he stands next to
Are
Rise-san.
you alright?
Labrys has a melancholy look on her face as she hangs her head. She's so human-like. The sheer authenticity of that expression makes that thought appear in my mind.
I didn't have the chance to introduce myself. I'm Naoto Shirogane. You're Labrys. Is that correct?
She raises her head, but neither confirms nor denies it. She just quietly stares at her double across the room. A machine given the ability to summon a persona. The persona ability was the primary objective in her creation. The fact that she has also developed a heart came as a byproduct. How much suffering did she have to go through, having been treated like an object for so long? It isn't easy to imagine.
I can't claim to understand your pain. It was only today that I learned you existed, to say nothing of the weapons program from which you sprung. But there is one thing I do understand.
I kneel and look Labrys in the
Look
eyes.
carefully at me. Do I seem like a man or a woman to you?
What do you mean?
You and I are alike. There is such a gulf between what we yearn to be and what we are that we have trouble accepting our true nature.
Our true nature?
Just as I cannot break the glass ceiling of my profession, you cannot become human. That is the painful truth. But if we were able to change, would that truly bring us happiness? I feel there is something only you or I can offer, because of who we really are.
There's something a machine like me can offer? Even if there is something like that, there's no place I belong.
That's not true. I'm not human either, but I work at Juness. The part-time ladies give me sweets sometimes and everything.
The heart is always lacking something. It may be that you and I will be troubled by this same thing for the rest of our lives. But please don't forget that you're not alone anymore.
I'm not alone.
I nod strongly to Labrys as she looks up at me. I repeat it for emphasis.
Don't worry. You're not alone.
That's right! I'll stick to you like glue!
And it won't be just us. I'm sure you'll make lots of friends with everyone in town.
Really? A machine? Like me?
We nod. Labrys stands up and approaches her
I
shadow.
said, it's okay to be me. Doesn't that make you happy too?
She takes the shadow's hand as it droops its head listlessly.
I'm so sorry I locked you up inside me for all that time. But we'll be okay now. I'm not alone. And you're not either, right? I'm sorry I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone. No. You are me, after all. It's my persona.
Labrys, there are some people from the Kirijo group here looking for you.
I wonder if they'll stick me back in that box again.
I highly doubt that.
Of course they will. After all, I caused a lot of trouble. What else are they gonna do?
I can't say anything about that for certain, but you should talk with them. It's your right to be where you belong.
Yeah, you're right.
At that moment, I hear several sets of footsteps approaching from outside. I stand and take a fighting pose for an instant, relax when I hear familiar voices. I ease up and smile.
Is everyone all right?
Whoa, Senpai! You're back from the city already?
Never mind him, Kanji-kun. What about you? What have you been doing all this time?
The shadow host was defeated. The invisible walls must have disappeared. This place is familiar to all of us. With the walls gone, finding each other is a piece of cake.
Yo, Naoto. Guess you made the big meetup after all, huh? I swear, we're tied together by fate or something. Actually, is that the real you, Teddy?
You're so blind sometimes, Yosuke.
Rise-chan, I'm so glad you're safe. Senpai, you're all here.
Kirijo-san's group comes in behind Senpai and the others. The room instantly falls silent. Perhaps some of the others had encountered them during a match before I did, but in general, everyone was shocked to see them. Kirijo-san weaves between all of us and walks directly toward
You
Labrys.
must be Labrys.
All of us hold our breath at Kirijo-san's dignified voice.
I'm Yusuru Kirijo. You may have heard already, but I came to collect you.
Collect? At that, Labrys takes a step back. I put my hand on her shoulder to comfort her. She looks at me and I nod. Human, robot, anyone. It doesn't change anything. But no matter who you are, there are things that you have to carry out through your own actions, using your own words.
I don't want to go back in that box. Or to that lab.
As Labrys managed to say it, a voice speaks up from behind Kirijo-san.
Mitsuru-san, I'd like to ask that you consider her request. Labrys's, my sister's abilities, will surely be useful to us. Can't we enlist her on a trial basis and see what happens?
Sister? Surprised by that unfamiliar appellation, Labrys looks towards the
You're
speaker.
a robot too.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Aegis, the 7th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. I'm your successor, sister.
We're sisters?
She answered Labrys with a smile. Amazing. Her tone, her expressions, they're all so human.
I'd like to third their request. I'm well aware that I'm in no place to make demands on you, but
Kirijo-san gave a weird smile after a third objection.
I'm starting to feel like the bad guy. There's no need to worry. I wasn't thinking of sealing you away again.
Really?
You've awakened to your persona and gained control over it. True. I don't know for sure that the danger is past, but I don't feel that you need to be sealed off from humanity, particularly since it's obvious that you have a heart.
Kirijo-san,
Labby-chan doesn't need to be all alone anywhere? Yay!
Naoto, sorry to interrupt, but who are these people?
They kinda look like a bunch of freaks.
Way to put it bluntly, Yosuke.
Yeah, I mean, one of them's not even human.
I guess she's a robot?
Huh? Wait a sec. Kirijo? As in the Kirijo group? Wait, what? What's going on here?
All my friends begin to look at me, the only one who knows everything. Where should I start? More importantly, how should I how much should I disclose? Either way, it looks like it's going to be a long explanation. First, though, I suggest that we change locations. It's important to share information, but it is imperative that we all get out of here safely. Teddy leads us to the roof. When he opens the door to the roof, though, we find ourselves in a place that looks nothing like the real thing. Everyone besides Teddy starts in surprise. Outside the door is a space that resembles a TV studio. That's right, it's a place that we used as an entrance lobby to the TV world last year. It disappeared once, but it must have reappeared when Labrys entered this world and created this school here. The others told me that the Midnight Channel aired again, However, whoever watched the broadcast must have associated it with last year's airings. That explains why it looks exactly the same. At any rate, it looks like we'll be able to exit here in one piece. As I sigh in relief, Kirijo-san turns to us.
I should introduce myself to the rest of you. I am Mitsuru Kirijo. I cannot tell you who I am affiliated with or my position, but I bear all responsibility for Labrys. This case, the whole disturbance was mainly due to us. I'm very sorry for putting you in such danger.
Kirijo-san sums up the sequence of events. Labrys' entry into this world was the cause of it all. She and the others came here after her.
How do you know Mitsuru-san, Naoto-kun?
That's, well...
Shirogane was working with us. Since it was our first time in this world, he helped us safely reach Labrys.
So, the job you had was to bring Mitsuru-san and the others here?
Huh? Well...
That was basically it. I'm sorry, but there are some things he cannot disclose. I ask for your understanding in that regard.
Sure, detective stuff. I get ya. That's pretty cool.
Sonao-san and Aigis-san don't say a word, even after Kirijo-san's explanation. It's not completely a lie, but still. I shrug and sigh softly. If I had denied that incomplete explanation, it would be the same as admitting that I was working against them.
I really am no match for her.
Well then, let's all go home. Alrighty, attention please. The trip doesn't end until we get out of the TV.
Dude, you really gave us a scare. And this isn't the first time either. Well, at least it ended well.
You know, I understand about Rise-chan and Teddy, but why did Kanji-kun go missing again?
Huh? Oh, well, because,
You needed a change of pace, no?
What?
Did I misspeak? You said something like, sometimes a man just wants to be alone inside a TV.
As if.
Alto, you bastard! Why'd you have to tell him that?
Labrys laughs at our small talk. Looking at her, I begin to feel like this episode wasn't so bad after all. But suddenly, Labrys' smile suddenly disappears and her body freezes in an unnatural position.
Labrys?
Labrys does not answer me. Sonao-san shouts a warning.
Get away from her!
Everyone jumps back, confused. Kanji-kun wasn't even sure what was supposed to be backing away from at first. Soon, though, we all stand around her in a ring. Labrys stands in the center, completely motionless.
What's going on?
I don't know. I can only tell that she's probably being controlled from outside.
Controlled? As we all watch her, confused and nervous, Labrys' right hand slowly begins to move. It reaches around her back to her thrusters, or rather, to the axe. Labrys' eyes were staring blankly into space, but suddenly glance at me.
Shirogane!
The warning comes at the same instant as the attack. I can feel the wind of the axe's passage as I bend backwards to dodge the blow. If she'd gone after anyone else, things might not have been so fortunate. I'm the only one who's actually seen that attack. But Labrys follows up with a different attack. Ooh, that's the first time I think I've ever seen the artwork of that persona. Nice! I gulp in spite of myself. That white, elegant silhouette behind Labrys. I had almost forgotten. Labrys now has the power of a persona. Fighting her won't be as easy as it was
Labrys,
before.
Why? Never mind, it can wait.
Okay, now we have to fight Labrys one last time! Why'd I just hold up 2 fingers for this? Oh well. Anyway, one last time, here we go. So I'm just gonna wait for her to run up. Okay, that works, I guess. I did not mean to use my thing there. Ah, dang it, I wasted my burst. So I'm actually gonna have to show off some of Naoto's attacks.
Okay.
Yikes, okay. So I guess I should point out how Naoto works. So she has both her persona, Sukuna. I'm getting my butt handed to me. Oh, good lord. I'm just gonna kick. Oh, dang it, that didn't work. No. Please, Labrys, stop kicking my butt. Oh, okay. She won't give me a moment to breathe. Okay, that's it. Oh, dang it. Give me a moment to breathe, Labrys, please. Thank you. Get out of here. I did this on literally everyone in this campaign, and I'm doing it on you, too.
Perhaps I took it too far.
Maybe. I don't know. You were getting your butt kicked. I emerged victorious. but I don't have enough energy remaining to run up to her. I breathe heavily and look at her. Aegisan runs towards Labrys in my place.
Sister, are you all right?
Suddenly, an uncanny voice echoes throughout the studio.
To think she'd fall so easily.
Ah, come on! You know, there's a point when a story's done, and then there's a point where you drag things out. My gosh! Everyone glances around, trying to find where it came from.
She'd provide more entertainment. What a disappointment.
As soon as this sentence is complete, all eyes turn towards me. I cannot blame them. After all, this voice was mine. The darkness in the center of the ring twists and squirms like gel. A face forms on its surface and it hardens into limbs and a human-like body. It stands up. The thing standing before us was, again, me. No, just let him take my shape.
Naoto-kun's shadow? Why?
I thought you disappeared.
I can't stop myself from being filled with anxiety, but I keep my voice calm as I ask it a question.
Who are you? Once you've gained your persona, you're not supposed to see your shadow again. That's what you thought, isn't it? Did you really think I had gone away? Well, too bad. Man cannot let go so easily of his weakness. I'm always with you.
No, this can't be happening.
My friends become even more disturbed. They certainly had cause to worry. Could the same thing happen to them? Will it? I, however, did not stir. Instead, I suddenly understood what had happened. This thing's objective was clearly to cause us to panic.
A farce. You are not my shadow.
I walked towards this copy of me, the real
I know
enemy.
that for two reasons. First, I was able to use my persona in the battle just now. One's persona and shadow are two sides of a coin. If you are my shadow, my persona should have been unusable. Second, you took control of Labrys just now. That's an unusual power far beyond the capabilities of a human like myself. I'm sorry to say you've dug yourself a deeper hole by showing off that ability. With a power like that, you could drive a man to extreme acts, which was the missing piece in this case.
You mean the hijacking wasn't just the work of a highly motivated crew? Rather, whoever we're talking to now was...
It was Labrys' dark wish that we fight each other. But what if someone knew beforehand that that would happen? Labrys has a heart, but she's also a machine. Unlike humans, her memories can be tampered with. By using Labrys, you thought you could orchestrate the disturbance her shadow would create in this world. Your objective is, as you just said, to gather persona users, have them fight, disrupt their hearts, and steal their personas. That's why you're appearing in the form of my shadow right now, to confuse me. You're the real puppet master behind this case. I'm surprised. Very insightful of you, Naoto Shirogane. Quite impressive work. I didn't expect you to fight back this fiercely. Sadly, it seems things won't be going according to plan this time. But I'll make use of what tools I have to the very end. This is my last chance. No, more like a marvelous entertainment. Now stand, my puppet.
Labrys staggers to her feet. There's no doubt now, this is the person controlling Labrys. And she has yet to break free from the spell.
It's all worn out because of you. It shouldn't have much strength left to fight, but unless you destroy it, it will keep rising up and attacking you all. What will you do?
Labrys pointed her axe at me for the third time. Rather than caution, I felt sympathy. The forced killing of comrades against one's will. I see now. This is the past her shadow had talked about.
Shirogane, you need to stand back!
Kirijo-san steps in front of me.
If we all attack her, we may end up destroying Labrys. But she's just under its control. If we can release her, she should stop attacking.
I glance over at Rise-san.
Is that possible? All right, I'll give it a try.
Perhaps Rise-san's persona is powerful enough to do it. I think it's worth trying. However...
It's no use. What is that thing? It's not a shadow. It's way too strong.
I had a feeling things wouldn't be so easy. Out of options, Kirijo-san signals Aegisan with a troubled look on her face.
Prepare for the worst.
Aegisan opens her eyes in shock. A look of astonishment, not the good kind. But she quickly regains her composure and begins readying her weapons. She slowly aimed them at Labrys. Realizing what was happening, Rise-san hastily interjects.
Wait, let me try again.
But Aige-san pays her no heed. Labrys is in her sights. She looked calm, but it hurts just to see her expression. That's only natural. She called Labrys her sister.
Now suffer. Relinquish your personas.
At that very moment, Kirito-san suddenly looks up. She closes her eyes. She gathers her strength, as she had when she tried to establish a line of communication with her own persona. But who is she trying to reach?
Now.
Who is she talking to? Is there someone here besides us? As I stared at Kirito-san in bewilderment, it happens. Without warning, Labrys freezes in place. The menacing aura that she had been giving off dissipates in an instant.
What?
For the first time, I can hear panic in the enemy's voice. Freed from the power of the enemy, Labrys' body collapses to the ground. Aige-san's weapons fold back into her body, and she runs to Labrys as if all her pent-up emotions were exploding behind her like a rocket.
Heck was that?
I don't know. I was getting desperate too. It seemed like something far away stepped in.
This can't be! It's just as we thought. The enemy is taking on your appearance and has no connection to you. Feel free to cut loose.
Kirito-san's voice is full of confidence. I don't know what she did, but when she speaks so confidently, it's impossible to doubt her. I look at the enemy again, my face, but with a different expression.
There's something I want to ask before I fight. What now? Why did you choose me? Of all the persona users here, why did you use my face? Is that all? Of course I chose you. You were the most unstable of the lot. Never quite sure whether to call yourself a man or a woman. Your indecisiveness made you the perfect prey.
I clench my fist but keep my anger in check. After a moment, I nonchalantly tip my hat back on my
There's
head.
actually something I've been curious to know all this time. Last year, when my real shadow went berserk, I was forced to the sidelines. It left me wondering whether I could have overcome that other me on my own. This is the perfect chance to find out. I won't hold back an inch.
Okay, time to fight Shadow Naoto! And, blarg.
Final.
Yeah, this should be kind of easy-ish, just because, you know, she's herself, and Naoto isn't really the greatest character to play as in this game, at least in my opinion. She's a bit too gimmicky, but anyway, we're just gonna use our stinking ability, and then, yeah, just one shot. Get out of here!
Perhaps I took it too far.
No. She didn't take it far enough. Anyway, the enemy staggers and falls to her knees, her face, or rather, mine, wriggling in agony.
You did it! You're so cool now, Chan!
I can't believe you could go that nuts on something that looked like you.
It may have taken my shape, but it wasn't me. I had no reason to relent.
I fully believe what I said, but Kanji-kun doesn't seem satisfied for some reason. Kirijo-san looks down at the enemy.
You'll be coming with us. There are some things we still want to ask you. This is fine with me. There were many twists and turns along the way, but I'm not displeased with the results. It was good enough for this time that I confirmed you have the power to meet my expectations. This time, this is only a temporary form. I doubted there'd be any meaning in changing my appearance, but sure enough, it made for a very enjoyable game. I will see you in another guise next time. Just wait until then.
The enemy laughs and begins to fade away. Of course, the enemy simply disappeared into thin air. Who was she? What was her objective? Trying to separate us from our personas? Unfortunately, I was not able to get to the core of the matter. But still, next time, huh?
Hell no! Don't you dare come back again!
Yeah, what he said!
Seriously, that was one sick bastard.
I know, right?
Copying Now-chan was going too far! Bad enough that it was in violation of my image rights, taking my form like that!
I wonder if this is the start of something bigger.
Yeah, I don't think we should let our guard down.
Everyone's face clouds with anxiety. No one could have imagined that we would run into some bigger threat like this. Does the enemy plan to cause another incident like this again? Are we going to get more humiliating catchphrases? Killjoy Detective, my... Am I really that bad? It appears like Kirijo-san has worries of her own, though.
My analysis didn't make it in time, but that was...
It's hard to believe. Then again,
With a strong look in her eyes, she swallows her fears and comes to us as we discuss who the identity of the mastermind could
in
be.
any case, you don't have to worry about it. It's our responsibility from here on out.
But it was obviously targeting us. We can't shrug and go on our way after that.
he's correct. Given that it's taken an interest in us, we must arm ourselves against it.
Of course, you should be aware that the enemy is out there. But there is no need to abandon your lives to pursue it. We will do our best to ensure that no harm comes to you. That is, after all, our duty.
I can sense that she is completely sincere. We all trade glances, but we eventually concede with our leader's opinion. We'll agree to Kirijo-san's offer. There are some lingering regrets, but we have little choice right now. Seeing that everything is settled, Teddy butts in and strikes a strange pose. We turn to look at him. With a grin of pride, he kicks at the floor with his heel. That is his usual little dance when summoning the exit TV to get us out of the TV world. Kirijo-san's group is obviously surprised, and they look polite. Well, they look pointedly at the TV.
Doing with this ancient TV? Hang on, where'd you even get this?
It's a teddy vision! You can get out from here!
This TV is our escape route? Can we really fit inside?
Ooh, are you a little too front-loaded to fit?
Teddy, shut up!
Mind helping you squeeze through?
Teddy, once again, shut up!
You're even worse than before, you know that?
We all pass through Teddy's TV and make it back to the real world. Of course, Kirijo-san is a bit flustered to find herself in the middle of a department store. Labrys looks slightly lonely, but she follows Kirijo-san by her own free will. There shouldn't be anything to worry about. Remembering Aiga-san's gentle smile, I know that they'll make sure Labrys is alright. And so the incident came to a close. The following day, May 4th, Kirijo-san had stayed the night pursuing a follow-up investigation and is going back to the city today. We learned that from none other than Labrys, who had called us all want to say goodbye in person. And of course, we were obliged to see them off. At an intersection just outside the shopping district, we gathered by that oh-so-familiar limousine to exchange parting words with Labrys.
I'm really sorry for causing you guys so much trouble.
What are you saying? I had a blast meeting you, Labby-chan!
Likewise, but I can't believe you didn't notice at all that Kirijo-san was searching high and low for you. You're so thick.
That is mysterious. I wouldn't hesitate to answer the call of such a beautiful woman. It must have been because I was having so much fun talking with Labby-chan.
She never gives it a rest. So, what are you gonna do now, Labrys?
If you need help, we don't mind sheltering you. Yukiko's house is a great hideout.
Thanks. But I'm planning on working with Mitsuru-san. We're gonna catch the scumbag who tried to use you guys. This time, it'll be me that's got your backs.
Sounds promising.
It sounds as though you found a place where you belong, then.
Sure enough.
Come back anytime to hang out, okay? We'll be here for you.
Okay. Thanks, you guys.
Labrys' expression is radiant. I turn around to see Kirijo-san and the others watching from inside the car with gentle smiles. I leave the circle gather around Labrys and approach Kirijo-san. Something that I have to confide in her after all this
I
time.
confess, I had known about the existence of the Shadow Operatives from the start.
As I thought. Well, considering what we've both been through, there's no need to keep it hidden from you anymore.
Why are you taking the lead even if it risks your life? A woman in your position needn't.
A great many people were hurt because of mistakes the Kirijo group made in the past. I won't let it happen again. To leave behind nothing that could jeopardize the future. That's my mission. More than that, it's a vow I made.
I feel like she's speaking to someone else. Someone who's not here to hear her. She then nods to me. The sincerity in her eyes is all the confirmation I need. In my line of business, you rarely come across people who actually speak what they mean. people I would call noble. She is one of the few. Her eyes show trust in me, and that makes me proud to know her as well.
You've been a real help. About the next step, though, I doubt you'll back down that easily.
Who knows? It's not my decision to make.
I give a casual reply and Kirijo-san shakes her head with a
I
smile.
understand that nothing I say can dissuade you, but I want you to be cautious.
Her expression turns serious. This is likely to be a personal warning about the investigation I should be keeping secret from her.
There are those within the Kirijo group who don't think as I do. There are no doubt a lot of dark secrets to be unearthed. The current Kirijo group has drifted away from the family businesses. I am only the founding family's daughter, not the strongest position.
What an odd warning. It's as if you're showing compassion to your enemy. Well, I too personally hope you find success. You be careful too, Kirijo-san.
Just call me Mitsuru.
Of course, Mitsuru-san. Well, until next time.
The car soon departs in the direction of the highway. We watch as Labrys waves from the window, believing that one day we'll meet again. After seeing them off, we head to the food court at Junes. It's been a bit delayed, but it's time for Yu-senpai's welcome back party. Those last few days had been full of trouble, but I can't help but feel that some sort of fate brought us together in the end. Soon, the topic at hand changes to what Yu-senpai had said. We should reform the investigation team. Just as Mitsuru-san had predicted, it was the only natural reaction to what we had been through. Not a single one of us objected to the idea, and we all talked about our plans to continue. By the time we split up and I arrived home, it was close to midnight. But I sat at my desk and turned on my computer so that I may compile my report on the investigation.
What follows are my impressions of the organization called the Shadow Operatives, as well as their leader, Mitsuru Kirijo. As a member of the Kirijo Group's founding family, Mitsuru Kirijo strongly wishes for the corporation's stigma to be cleared. Yet the Shadow Operatives are not ultimately a means for her to clear this stigma. Her first priority is to protect and save those who are at risk. The way she handled the lost cargo in this case made that much clear. Though discarding it would have been more advantageous and it would have been simple to destroy in secret, she chose not to do so. She sees the restoration of the family honor as a byproduct of her true mission. I will continue my secret investigation. It is apparent that the Kirijo group still harbors many dark secrets. Yet I must note that no matter how their internal affairs are worth watching, we need not trouble ourselves overseeing shadow operatives. Mitsuru Kirijo does not shrink from the responsibilities she bears. We will never gain leverage over her based on her family's sins. Even if the true culprit behind this matter has ties to the Kirijo group, she will...
I stopped typing and delete the last
No,
sentence.
This report is no place for conjecture. I suspect this is only the beginning. This program has been brought to you care of the following sponsors: